Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Sola coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria. So today's topic is, can I use an AC if I am off the grid? And the answer is yes. For the last 4 years, I've done just that. So the experience has been mixed. And I'll show you a chart to support it, and then I'll tell you what I've done. A little over 4 years ago, I purchased a 1 horsepower LG split unit inverter AC. And it worked fine. Then it required service. Once service was done, the AC didn't behave as well anymore. And then the second person came. It wouldn't cool below 26 degrees. And the last person who came, it could barely get to 27 degrees Celsius. So I decided that I had to buy a new unit. And I'll show you charts to support what I was doing and what I'm currently doing. The new unit I purchased it last week, and it was installed on Tuesday, and I'll show you my charts for Tuesday. Looking at now is when I was running my old LG unit, and you could see, let's start looking at nighttime because there's no sun. So at about, as you could see, at about 7 p.m. there is no sun, and you can see that we are pulling 927. So all I have on is my AC, my fan, my AC, my fridge, and my freezer. And that's what we're pulling. And you see that number goes up to 1214 at about 7:25 p.m. That's what's coming out of my battery, 1214. The same things are on. I have a few lights on, but they don't add up to anything. Then that number is still over 1,000 watts. My battery is 11 kilowatt hours, which I discharge to 90%. Well, actually, I discharge it to 83%. So you could see, this is what we're pulling out of our batteries. And then that continues. You see, at 11, we're pulling over 1,000 watts. So let me see if I find a number. Yep, we're pulling over 1,000 watts out of the batteries. Our state of charge now at midnight is 64%, and we're pulling close to 1 kilowatt out of our batteries. So allow for this to refresh real quick. So look what happens here now. So our state of charge is still at 62%. At midnight 05, we're still pulling, look at that, we're pulling almost 1 kilowatt, right? 9:39, we're pulling over 1 kilowatt. And then you see our state of charge taper off. We're still pulling some ridiculous numbers. And then once we get down to 17%, the system goes off. We run out of power, no juice. So now I have to put on generator. The generator charges the batteries for us. We go back to the same next evening. As you can see, the numbers are still ridiculous, right? Over 1 kilowatt just to cool. Look at that, 1,000, 1,100, up until midnight. Now let me show you yesterday night into this morning with the new AC that I installed. So now the new AC, I put in the new AC. As you see, I slept with the old one. I kept turning things off and on, and I had a miserable night because I got up, turn it on, put the AC on, put the AC off. You can see what numbers were. You can see the spikes each time I put them on or off. You can see at 1,271. And then we get here, I put in the new one, right? And you can see 615, there's still some PV, so we're not going to use that. Let's start from 7, like we did with the last one. So 7, right? PV at 7:30, PV is, let me see, is this correct? The 16th, yes. At 7:30, right? Let me go back, 6:30, 7:30. PV is 0. Look at what our consumption is, 375. The AC is still on. Look at those numbers. The most we've seen so far is 515, 539. So that was a high number, 539. And then it drops to 492. And then let me show you this morning, right? So look at this morning. So 370, 467, 443. Look at our SOC, 70%, 69%. Look at that, 440. At one point, I got up and I dropped it down. I made it 1 degree cooler. 440, 440, 486. Okay, so now this begins to make sense, right? you keep an old AC unit. That AC unit, you're struggling to cool. You're spending so much money on electricity. You can see the difference, right? The difference between this and that one. You could see I was pulling over 1 kilowatt. The most you saw me pull was 500 watts. So less than half the number. Transfer that to your actual electric bill. You're consuming half the amount and you're still providing better cooling than you were providing before. So this makes a very strong case for you to buy a new AC. And I usually recommend to my customers, if you're going to spend all this money, buy a new AC. So I hope you like what you've seen. If you really like it, give me a thumbs up. It seems to matter to YouTube for the algorithm. So please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or any comments, post them in the comment section right below. Once again, this is Dr. Sola coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.